chief's son is like, he sends everyone away. He's like, look at you. You know what you've seen in those people is fear. Deep rotting fear. He's like, I didn't raise you to live with fear, right? Mm-hmm. And the most gangster part about that is he gets his spoiler alert.
Do you have to spoiler alert movies that are what, like 15 years old?
Well, somebody might go, oh, that sounds dope. I'm going to go watch it. Skip over the next 15 seconds. I'm going to say it right now. Well, he gets his throat cut right after he tells his son, don't be afraid. And he just looks stoically at his son, and that's so gangster. Mm-hmm. But we're talking about that and just how, like, that meaning, that moment carries so much meaning into life where you're like, damn, that'll alleviate a lot of anxiety. Because I start picking up more anxiety the more responsibilities I pick up in life.
Oh, yeah, definitely. You know what I mean? You get more anxiety as, you know, you start living on your own, and then, you know what I mean, if you have kids and stuff like that, and then, you know what I mean, you got a lot more stuff riding on you, and it's not so much as when you were just in high school, you know, you just wanted to graduate and stuff like that. Like now you got definitely bigger anxieties, you know what I mean, as you tend to get older and stuff. So
Did you feel that coming out of the military and looking for a job? I mean, kind of finding your next step, or?
There was a phase of bouncing around and not knowing what I really wanted to pursue. So I did 4 years active duty Air Force, worked on computer systems. And then when I came over to the National Guard, they're like, we don't need computer guys, we need medics. So I cross-trained into medical laboratory science, which sounds way complicated. It's just looking at blood and other body specimens to try and diagnose what's going wrong.
A bunch of verbs in that right there.
Lots of verbs and adjectives and nouns too. So I got my associate's degree in medical laboratory science, and then I had my associates in management of information technology, which is just computer stuff. So when I came out, there was definitely a lot of different opportunities for me to go in, but man, they just weren't really calling to me. So I was going to school for nursing is what I was actually in school for, finishing up some of my prereqs. I just wasn't feeling it. And I was whining is what I was doing to my grandfather, who's a pipe fitter. He was a pipe fitter out of Detroit. And I said, you know, I don't know if this is what I really want to do. And my wife is a nurse, so I was seeing the kinds of things that she was working on, and so little. Once you reach the BSN, the bachelor's level of nursing, you do less and less and less direct patient care. And different hospitals are different situations are different, but you spend so much more of your time doing managerial stuff and managing medications and managing insurance and management, not actually taking care of people. And that was what was appealing to me in healthcare, and that's what's appealing to me in the trades, is that you're actually in there doing it. I mean, there is managerial stuff, and there is, you know, you have to cross your T's and dot your I's, but at the end of the day, somebody's got to climb up in that rack and hang that pipe.
Yeah. Hell yeah. And then you know these people, you're like, if we all stick to it and turn out, we're going to know each other for the rest of our lives. We're going to work alongside each other. Taylor's probably going to be the boss man always, but I'm cool with that. I'm cool with that.
Somebody like, Mark, get over here. What are you doing, man? God.
Mark, you be the good yard dog, because I could just see you. You ever seen Friday where he's like, hey, Smokey, you over there taking a shit? Yeah, don't tell no one. He's like, hey.
Just bothering everybody, huh?
So you be a good yard dog where you're like, hey, what are you doing? What are you grabbing out of that?
Hey, what are you doing? That's not yours. That's ours. Whoa. Hey, you're my boy, though. I know you're my boy, but you don't work for this contractor, okay? Hey, man, can I get something that you got over there? So your grandpa got you into this field?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So he
heard you complain and said, okay, you know what, you do the trade. Huh?
I was talking to him about it, because he was incredibly wise. He was a 12-year Marine helicopter mechanic. Got out, and then I can't remember exactly. He was doing some sort of like mechanical maintenance stuff for Disneyland, actually, in California. He was like,
that's cool.
Yeah, kind of a weird job, but he was doing that for a little while, and then he moved back up to Michigan and got into the union as a pipe fitter there, and did that, you know, for the rest of his career. Retired out that way.
Yeah.
And so he said, hey, you know, I think this is something you'd be good at. You know, it requires people look at construction, especially nowadays. You know, I'm sorry for the people that have heard me tell this 100 times, but I had a guidance counselor in high school. I put shop class down on my list of requested classes, and my shop counselor went, no. Or I'm sorry, my guidance counselor went, no, you don't want to take shop. That's for those kids that aren't smart enough to go to college.
Dang.
You should take creative
Like
writing
that.
instead. So I graduated high school knowing how to write a sonnet, but I couldn't tell a crescent wrench from a spud wrench.
That's why you got all those verbs and nouns in there, dude.
Right?
Damn.
So
Now we
gotta
know.
watch what we say, huh? He's gonna be like, "Hold on, man, that ain't even an adjective. I don't even know what I just said, but I've heard it."
Yes,
No,
I could.
I just
Yeah, I
that's
could. I
good,
could.
though.
I can write an iambic pentameter. Would you like
Dang.
fries with that?
Yeah.
That's about what that prepares you for. So,
Well, I know my brother, he had come back from Missouri, and I was done with fighting, and 911 was paying the bills, but I was looking for something different. He came back, came over to my house. I was cooking some steak, and then he told me how much he made in Missouri. I go, all right, show me where to sign up. And this is before the big intel. He goes, it's going to be well. I said, I don't give a shit. I'll wait there as long as it takes. My bills are being paid. Whatever. I was number 18 on the list.
did you have your daughter at the time?
No, actually. We actually conceived her the day after my first day of NCO, my first day on the job. So, funny story. So, I in 911, you have to schedule your vacation in October for the following year. Any days you want off. You got to schedule in the October the year prior. So, I was like, you know what? It's the first year I'm going to take my birthday off and celebrate it. So, I schedule it. And sure as shit, the week before my vacation, someone called me and was like, hey, can you be here Monday? And I was like, that's when my vacation starts. Should I pull the trigger? But it was like, yeah, I'm going. So I come down here, I do everything, go on vacation. So I'm on vacation pay with my 2-week notice in, do a week of work, and my last day, it was like a week and a half notice, really. But then Saturday night, I had to finish a shift or else I wouldn't get my check, whatever. And it just happened to land perfectly. So I started the week of vacation. It was meant to be in my mind. But then I get in, and then my birthday was the next day, and that's about when we, my daughter, we found out a month later.
I think.
I got the job.
I think most
Now
listeners
time for
can put
baby.
that together.
And
It's all his birthday.
That is math even a pipe fitter can do.
But, it's crazy, the life stresses. So the life stresses in life, I mean, the big ones, career change, having a kid, loss of a family member. So I was dealing with all that, and then I'm proud of myself of where I am today. Not really losing it. So here I am, rock you like a hurricane. Know what I mean?
Boom.
Hell yeah. I know I kind of harp on that, but that's what kind of reminds me, like, shit, you've been through a lot. It's all downhill from here, you know what I mean? So,
Yeah, trying to get in the trade is what's how could I say it's definitely hard. Like, you know what I mean? When I got in what is it? As a jobber first, and then I got laid off, and then I had to take the test again because they ended up like not erasing everything, but kind of throwing everything away, and then you had to start all over. You had to take that test at the gateway. Yeah, I remember I'm from Tucson, so back then I wasn't living here in Phoenix like I am now, but I drove all the way over here a second time and took the test, and then it got put in a spot. My first time I was like number 271, and then after a year it's like boom, got like I got laid off. I was a jobber for a little bit, and then I got laid off, and then I had to wait like a year and a half to get back in again. And then when I came back the second time, I had to take the test, and then I came in, and then when they were still doing the 500 hours, and
yeah.
Yeah. So for those that don't know,
they don't do that no more though.
in order, well, they are
Or they still do the
they-
applicant.
Mhm. So in order to get in as an apprentice pipe fitter, plumber, or HVAC service technician, you have to take a technical aptitude test. So it's kind of like the SATs in that they're going to give you a set of questions that they sort of rack and stack you against all of your peers. If you've ever taken the ASVABs, the military entrance test, there's a section on there that is like a mechanical reasoning test. So they'll show you, say, like a picture of 5 gears that are all linked together, 5 cogs. If you turn the one on the right clockwise, what will the one on the far left do? So just sort of like simple mechanical reasoning stuff. And it's something that you have to prepare for because there are limited spots to try and get an apprenticeship slot. So
They should have a question. What came first, the chicken or the egg?
Yeah.
That's always that one always gets me for some reason. I'm like, what is the answer to that? Yo, that has nothing to do with pipe fitting. That's why it should be on there to see how smart these people are. I'm just kidding. If you answer it, then I don't know.
Oh, Taylor's going to drop knowledge. What is
Right?
it?
So you got back in the second time around. No, I interrupted him,
okay.
trying to get him back on track on his story. So,
Yeah, right. He's
So
all,
you
Mark, don't be
you got
drifting off.
you got sort of semi-ejected, because you were just a jobber and work came
Yeah.
down. So when you came back in the second time, how did that go? You had to retake the test.
Yeah, the second time I had to retake the test, and then when I took the test, I got put on the list, and then it was like it was way lower than 271. It was I was like number 19. Yeah. So all I had to do was wait a couple months, and then boom, that's when I got called.
So when did you get in?
I got in February of 2017.
That's when I got in. So because you're number 19, I was number. Dude, you went and tested. I probably passed by you.
Yeah, what number were you? You probably
I was
passed
18.
Me too.
That's what I'm saying.
He's like, yeah, I passed you, Mark. Of course I did.
There was only 18 people on the test. I actually, because they rank you by whatever you test on, but there was only 18 people on the list. I can't remember what I placed, but so if you were within that, 19,
something like that. I was number something, and I remember it took me a couple months to get in, and then when I got called for the applicant, because you got to put your 500 hours in first.
I wish I knew how it worked.
That.
I wish I knew how it worked then, because I remember in December, 2 months prior to when we got in, they said anyone willing to switch their card to plumber, we can get you in. Well, knowing what I know now, I would have. Sign me up.
Yeah.
I don't choose for 2 years anyways.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
wait, hold on. You had to.
They were taking calls for plumber apprentices, and they would have brought you in. And shout out to Fidel. He got in December. Guess what? He must have came in as a plumber. What?
Yeah.
Mr. Big Shot Welder Fidel.
Mr. Welder.
What?
He's a good welder, but man, get him on the mic. They're one-word answers. How you doing? Okay.
So
do anything today?
For those that don't know, the way that we get dispatched for work is you get.
Sorry, Taylor. Yo, Mark, get away. Fidel's done already. Okay, we're done talking about him. No, just kidding.
That's okay. Let it flow.
No, go ahead. No, go ahead, Taylor. It's good. No, Taylor was saying some real stuff.
No,
I
was just saying let it flow.
Say.
Yeah, no, that's all right.
He's all,
That's
Mark,
all right.
thanks for fucking it all up.
No,
No.
That's part of the beauty. Look, Mark, here's the thing. I just wanted to get you to shut up.
Oh,
That did too.
I was talking about how we get dispatched on jobs. The employer, the general contractor that gets hired by, so big company wants to build a new building, right? Mail wants to build a new building. Intel wants to build a new building. They go to a general contractor. The general contractor goes, okay, we can build this for you. We're going to go to each of the trades. We're going to get electricians out here. We're going to get mechanical guys out here. We're going to get, duct work. We're going to get carpenters, all that kind of different stuff. So then they go to subcontractors and say, hey, can you do this kind of work for us? The subcontractors go, yeah, we can do that work. They sign a contract. Those guys go to the hall and say, hey, I need 10 pipe fitters, or I need 5 plumbers, depending upon the type of the work that they're doing. If they're doing water systems that touch human beings, whether that's toilets or sinks or showers or things like that, residential things, that's going to be plumbing. And if it's going to be industrial applications, that'll be pipe fitters. So people that are working on microchip plants or oil refineries or anything like that, that would be pipe fitting. So they'll go to the top of the list, and a lot of times, just depending upon what the work situation is, sometimes the plumber list will be shorter, and sometimes the pipe fitter list will be shorter. And so what Jory was saying, oh man, I should have come in as a plumber, would have gotten right on the job. That's because for the first 2 years of the 5-year apprenticeship, if you're a pipe tradesman, you learn all the same stuff. Everybody has the same foundation.
And you don't have to choose until you go into your third year.
Yep. Mm-hmm. You say, hey, I'm either going to be a plumber or a pipe fitter, or if you're good enough, if you can pass some welding tests, hey, I'm going to be a welder too. And you just get extra experience in those things. You can sort of cross.
Speaking of welding,
well, they're doing that now.
I want to get Cody.
I
want to get Cody Long and Chandler Cortez on here, the runner-up and the winner of the welding competition for the apprenticeship. I want to get them on here and talk about it, because there's a lot of people who want to weld, but they're not putting any extra time. And those guys, I think they got sleeping bags set up in that weld booth. You know,
Oh,
I mean,
Cody-
they're
Cody?
always in there, dude. Yeah.
Cody Long. That's it. It's Cody Long hair.
No, that's Cody Allman, bro.
Oh, never mind.
How dare you? How dare you
No,
insult?
Cody Long, you would recognize him because every time we were in that welding lab last semester doing our welding, he was in there. And he
Oh.
doesn't even have class the same nights that we do. That guy was
That's a-
all